Hello, good morning.
Good morning. It is far, far too early. Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show ever. I'm Anthony Carboni.
I'm Saige Ryan.
And there's news, and there's not much time because do remember that Wednesday episodes, a little shorter. Little small episodes.
Little small episodes, little minis.
Mini episodes,
got
big
1
news.
hour.
Small soldiers, big world. Was that little
planet, big world.
small blend? What was the small? I don't know. Hold on, I'm gonna drink some coffee.
Yeah, now seems like a good time. Was the Mass Effect re-release?
Woo! We got that trailer. We got that release date, and it's looking good. It's looking real good. I will say, they have taken, here's what's up. We know that this is gonna be all 3 games, all the DLC, completely remastered in 4K, not just a simple up-res, and it looks beautiful. They have done what some re-releases do and taken a little bit of artistic license to change some of the locations.
Yeah.
One of the biggest changes that I saw was they changed the entire atmosphere of Eden. Somebody posted screenshots of them back to back, and Eden was like this red, terrible, they've kind of changed it a little bit. They put the Mass Effect 3 FemShep into all 3 games, which is great because she looks way better.
Yeah. And moves like that make sense to me, even if it didn't just need an update because it didn't look good. Those games were made far enough apart that they looked different, and if you're going to release them all together, you need to be able to make that consistent. Huge
Technology difference. There are some other things that we know. We know that all of the games now use an updated version of controls, AI, and gunplay that come from Mass Effect 3, which was my biggest thing. I think we've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play through Mass Effect.
I haven't either.
I didn't play through the series.
You know what sucks, though? I just bought them all on Steam.
Oh, that's okay.
I mean, look, they were dirt cheap during the Steam, I think it was their winter sale or something like that. They all went on sale, and I bought them all literally in January. Whoops. That probably makes sense why they were putting them all on sale.
Well, I never played through it because Mass Effect 1, the gunplay especially, the gunfighting and the cover mechanics and all that stuff, real kludgy, real bad. I like talking to aliens. I like smooching aliens.
Yeah, same.
That's what I like. I like talking to aliens and smooching aliens. But the combat was just so kludgy in the first one that it kept bouncing off of me, and so I'm very excited to have these to play through. We do have some details about some of the other things that are going to be different. First of all, there's going to be no Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. When asked why, they literally just said, "Dude, it's too hard. It's just too hard. We'd have to do servers and maintenance and update and an infrastructure, and we're just not going to do it." Okay.
Sure. Okay.
I know it was a big deal for a lot of people, but I have to say, in today's crowded multiplayer online space, I think we'd all be really, really psyched for the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer to be back for a month, and then those servers would be empty.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're probably right.
It's probably for the best. Some other things, people were wondering if the Mako is going to have some new controls. The answer is yes, the Mako will be tweaked. It will not be as broken and busted. That's another reason I bounced off the first Mass Effect, is driving that Mako around.
Yeah, that was rough.
But this is what I want to share from this whole thing. Jennifer Hale, the voice of Shepard, tweeted last night, and it was very, very sweet. This is the first trailer in Mass Effect history that has ever featured FemShep, or as we all call FemShep, Shepard, the one true Shepard.
Sure.
And then male Shep is the lame one.
Yes.
We know this. We know this because Jennifer Hale owns. But here was her reaction to that.
Oh my goodness. I'm just sitting here ugly crying because I'm just so moved. I've been watching this trailer for the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect over and over, and FemShep's on it. And it's amazing. And listen, huge shout out to Mark. You know I love you. This is beautiful, and I'm so grateful. You guys are the best, and to be a part of this is the greatest thing in the world, and I'm so grateful. BioWare, thank you, fans. Thank you so much. It's just so beautiful. It's very moving. I just want to share that I'm ugly crying because it's so cool.
Oh, that's so lovely. You bring a really nice piece of this to this. I actually want to talk about something surrounding Mass Effect as well. The Mass Effect cache that they put together.
That means it's going to be bad.
Correct.
That means you're going to say a bad.
It's not that bad. It's fine. The Mass Effect cache that they're releasing that has all of the collectibles, you get a beautiful helmet,
right.
a bunch of, the metal case, etc.
Right.
A couple of people have pointed out that you should be aware it does not come with the game. The game is not part of it.
Oh, it's just
a helmet and some paper and some art and some posters, but the game is not included in the list of things it includes.
Oh.
And it's $150.
The Mass Effect Legendary Cache. That's interesting.
So you get a metal game case, game not included, 1 morality spinner pin, 1 N7 acceptance letter, 2 canvas art prints, including one that you can only find here in the BioWare gear store. Comes in a full custom color box, a color custom box featuring the game's key art.
Okay, this is fascinating. This is no.
It comes with a game case, but no game.
Well, and it's canvas art print is definitely FemShep.
Yeah, and that's dope. Like, it's not a bad set. The helmet is rad.
No, but these are, look, the helmet itself, I can understand that if the helmet is good quality, that's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the rest of this stuff is all the tchotchkes you normally get with a collector's edition, which, like, no shade, but as we've said before, you got to really make a collector's edition worth it. You know, when collector's editions say they come with posters and stuff like that, it's usually like folded up paper and it comes with these little patches. Well, I know how much it costs to make patches. Patches cost nothing.
Yeah.
The fact that it doesn't come with a game code is really wild to me.
The way I see it is it's not worth the money.
No,
there is enough value there for $150. I do see it.
Look,
but it just feels like such a weird move to me to not include the game.
Think about a nice replica helmet, even a non-functional replica helmet. Like you get a Gentle Giant's Trooper helmet or something.
Right. What, did I recently inquire about commissioning a Bo-Katan helmet? I don't know.
If you get a Gentle Giant non-working helmet, it will not fit on your head. You're talking about $250. Now, this won't be at the same level as a Gentle Giant, obviously, but it is a 1-to-1 scale helmet, so it should be,
approximately human head size.
And if it's made out of good stuff, I can see that. I mean, but calling the trick here is calling it the legendary cache.
Maybe call it a collectible set.
Yeah, like it's a misleading title because it does lead you to believe. I can see why they said legendary cache instead of edition. Yeah.
It's very funny to me. I would have been like, just make it more expensive and put the game in.
Yeah.
I think they were afraid of having that like $200 price tag, which is probably what it would have had to be, maybe more.
Listen, you're already making, if you're selling this at retail, then you're already making a 4X markup on it. Add another $30 to it. Anybody who's gonna pay $149.99 for this, give them the option to pay $179.99 and get the game. Come on.
It's so funny.
Be cool.
I just thought it was so funny. When I saw it, I was like, I'm sorry, what? If you didn't put the metal game case in there, I wouldn't have been as upset either. The audacity to put the case in there and not the game.
It's so funny.
Is so funny. It's like when you would go to Blockbuster and you would take something home and you didn't check it, and then you would be like, oh my God, there's the wrong disc in here.
Big news. And I mean big.
Oh, do you?
She's 9'6".
9'6" in her heels.
She's 9'6".
We tried to do the math.
With her hat and heels.
We tried to do the math.
Get my climbing gear, boys.
And
I'm going in.
Look, what was it, last week? We tried really hard to do some math on her height.
I believe it was a reporter, I believe it was Ash over at Kotaku, who tried to run the numbers.
Yeah.
Did a great job.
Yeah.
Did a great job. Clocked her at slightly over 8 feet based on some of the architecture and objects in the mansion.
Yeah.
She's 9'6", boys.
9'6". Hold me, cradle me, vampire mommy.
The Real Wild Ride, that's correct. That's 417 meters.
There we go.
As far as I know.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you otherwise.
I'm the host of an award-winning science podcast.
Yeah.
And I still I can do like 1-to-1 conversions, but then when you start asking me to do like a lot,
No.
9 feet. What is that, 3-point-something meters?
Literally have no idea. You could say any number and I would be like,
God.
Sure.
I just want like, I want her to put me in a Bjorn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to be held.
I want her to put me in a little baby Bjorn.
Yeah, on the front of the back.
In the front.
Yeah.
Come on. Have you seen her?
I've seen her. That's fair. Yeah, that makes sense. I have officially received all of the pieces from my Resident Evil Village cosplay.
And of course, Saige, being the tallest person we all know.
Felt like it would be too cliche to do Vampire Mommy.
So she went against type. And she's
exactly.
gonna be Bug Girlfriend.
Hey, Anthony, are you okay?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Well, thank you for asking, Saige. There was something that was quite a blow to me, and I think all real gamers this week.
Well, actually, mostly just you.
I think it's me and it's the entire gaming community because we all rallied and got behind something and we believed in it. And when that happens and it falls apart, it's heartbreaking.
Google Stadia is on its way out. And it's mostly because Anthony was the only active player of Google Stadias as a man who owns 2 Google Stadias. Unfortunately, it was just him. He would sign on to Destiny on the Google Stadia, and he would just...
I don't know. People say those were bots, but I don't think they were bots.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think they were bots. I think they were my friends. I mean, they went on... Well, actually...
Yeah, you thinking it through now? Wasn't
It
a voice
seemed like
chat,
we were,
was
it
it?
seemed like we were all together.
Yeah.
But then, I thought when there was one set of footprints on the moon, it was when the other players were carrying me. But maybe it's because there were no other players there.
Unfortunately, that's correct. Google has decided that, games aren't for us, we've decided.
Now, here are the particulars of what's going on. Google Stadia, the platform, is still happening, still exists. But Google Stadia, the game studio, is shutting down. There will be no first-party Google Stadia games. And that would be I think that would be much more disappointing if any first-party Google Stadia games had ever come out.
Yeah, but they really did keep being like, but they're gonna.
Well, so what they did is they created a gigantic studio and they pulled in some incredible talent. Of course, famously, Jade Raymond was the head of their originals. Jade Raymond, previously from Ubisoft, obviously a very big deal in the industry. And we thought this was the plan, right? But this is a very Google thing, and this is why I think the Stadia did not sell very well initially. Is the technology is cool. The integration stuff that they showed, super great. Kind of the future. Kind of love it.
Yeah.
But everybody was like, Google's gonna stop supporting this if it doesn't take off immediately. And I was like, no. Surely, with Phil Harrison and Jade Raymond, just veterans of the industry, surely they know, they've been told, and they understand that it takes at least 4 years to make a competitive AAA game in this market. Competitive, I mean like competitive against other products, not like
competitive
PvP.
Gaming. Yeah.
Nah, they shut it down in a year.
Yeah, I mean, quite simply, the Google Stadia has been a bit of a joke. I don't think if they had held on, the Google Stadia was going anywhere. I don't think the year is the issue, in my opinion. The fact that you are one of 10 people in existence that still have a functional Google Stadia, you're like the Showbiz Pizza guys of Google Stadia. That's the problem.
Well, but here's the thing. You're right, because it is a self-fulfilling Google prophecy.
Yes.
Right, and you're right that it's not the year it wouldn't have taken off, but I think maybe it wouldn't have taken off because everybody expected Google to do this. I think Google's got deep pockets, and when they decide they want to get behind something, and when they decide they want to throw their money into something, they're very good at doing it. I think the problem is they get bored so quickly and they move on. Like if something doesn't make, the problem with being a company the size of Google is if something doesn't make a cajillion dollars right out of the gate, you're like, why would we focus on this when everything else we have going on has a cajillion dollars? And they want to run the platform. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Is they were starting their original studio, but I don't think the original studio was ever the long plan for them. I think they knew they needed to make content. They knew they needed to show off what Stadia could do.
Right.
But they were going to shutter that studio in 5 to 10 years anyway. They want to be the platform.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
what Google does.
That's what Google does. But you look at a lot of previous Google projects, and it's actually really surprising to me because like the things that Google succeeds on are so incredibly successful. But then you look at these like weird projects that they take on, and they really make you think that they believe in off the bat of like
Google
Glass.
Wave.
Yeah.
Google Plus.
Google Plus is what I was trying. I literally couldn't remember the name of it off the top of my head for a moment. Google Plus. I mean, look, they tried for years. They gave us years on Google Plus, where they were like, sorry, sucks to suck. You want a YouTube channel? Got a Google Plus.
You got a Google Plus. Oh, that was obnoxious.
Yeah, that was really obnoxious.
It was really obnoxious. And you know, the sad thing, and you're right, they pick up all of these like these cool futuristic things. And they're like, we're gonna really dive into this, and we're the people that can bring it to you. And then they're like, it's so hard, and we don't wanna.
This is obnoxious. And
we
somebody
print
in chat,
money already.
Somebody in chat said Google phones. Google has done really well with phones.
Now Google, and this is the thing. This is why I think that Google could do this if they wanted to. Android. I owned the first Android phone. I had the G1 when a lot of my friends had the first iPhone. And I remember bringing in my G1 to show everybody to the company that I was working at in New York. And everybody looked at it and they were like, oh, it's the Google phone. And then they touched it and they were like, oh, okay, man, that's fun. And I was just like, oh.
Oh, no.
But they stuck it out. They now are known for having Android is a wonderful mobile operating system. It has a huge market share. They still make their own hardware. They're still supporting fucking Chromebooks, for Christ's sakes. They refuse to let that go.
People are still buying Chromebooks though.
But actually, Chromebooks have record sales right now.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic. This is
They're
the only time Chromebooks have made sense. It's
yeah.
just an extra keyboard and Wi-Fi for everybody in the house.
Right.
But that's the thing, is they can stick it out.
Yeah. They got to the Pixel.
They got to the Pixel, like, what made them? I think one day in 5 years, 5 to 10 years, we're gonna find out what made them stop.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a very interesting story.
Maybe a new project of some capacity. Hey, Google, we are also a Pixel. Buy us.
Acquire us, cowards. You won't.
Try it. See what it's
Try
like.
it.
Give us a
See
year.
what happens.
Give us a year like you gave Stadia. We could do at least as well as Stadia. We could have at least 12 people.
I think we're doing better than Stadia in a year. How many people we got
Hey.
watching right now? 100? We
Yeah.
just beat Destiny 2 on Stadia.
Congratulations, everybody.
We beat Cyberpunk 2077 on Stadia. In other big industry news, big money moves this morning. Gearbox was merged with the Embracer Group. The Embracer Group, if you are unfamiliar, is THQ Nordic. So THQ Nordic is a studio, but they were also the parent company that owned the studio. They changed their name a couple years ago to the Embracer Group, and they have been acquiring different studios, different publishers, and they just merged. We have to say merged. That's business speak, and we are a business channel.
We are a professional business channel.
We
I
are
passed the bar.
We are a professional business channel. So they include THQ Nordic. They have Koch Media and Deep Silver. They own Coffee Stain. They own Amplifier, they own Saber Interactive, and they own Decca. Now, you may not recognize all of these names right off the top, but obviously Deep Silver had like Dead Island and
I liked Dead Island.
Saints Row, I believe, was them before they moved over to THQ. But if you don't recognize Coffee Stain has made some very good, like, cult indie Steam hits.
What?
They have Deep Rock Galactic, they have Valheim, they of course have Goat Simulator.
Oh, okay.
A Story About My Uncle, which is one of the best VR games you can get your hands on. They make some very cool, interesting games. They also have Decca, which I believe is Decca, and they own whoever makes Infinifactory,
Okay.
which has been a huge hit on Steam. Now so by acquiring Gearbox, they now have, of course, everything Gearbox does, which, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. So they bought for $336 million. Now, half of that was cash, half of that was stock. Gearbox they were kind of shopping themselves around for a little while, and I know that Gearbox was looking to get $1.2 or $1.3 billion.
That's a lot of dollars.
That is an insane amount of dollars. An insane amount of dollars.
Wow.
And let me tell you something. As much as we all kind of love Gearbox, Gearbox has never delivered a game on time or under budget.
Right.
Never.
So not billions.
Not billions.
They came in way under that.
Can I tell you what I think this is? Now, they say that in this deal, Randy Pitchford is going to stay as studio lead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that guy's not an open secret in the industry. He's going to stay on. All of the talent at Gearbox is going to stay on. But I don't think they care much about the talent buy here. Gearbox is also a publisher now. They put out Hello Neighbor and We Happy Few.
Which were both very good.
Both very good. Their publishing side is doing very well. And they own a lot of good IP, specifically good IP that is spinning off into transmedia. So like, there's a Borderlands movie coming.
Yeah.
There's a Band of Brothers TV show coming. There is a Duke Nukem movie coming.
Yeah.
All of that is Gearbox. I think, based on how poorly Gearbox has done with their with hitting development targets and money targets. Anybody remember Battleborn? Yike. I think the goal here is buy them, get the IP, keep the staff around for 2-3 years, let them exercise their stock options, shut them down, take the IP, move it to another studio. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen. And I think it should happen. I think morale at Gearbox has been very low for a very long time. I think everybody who's there deserves a payday. We'll see if Pitchford distributes the stock in a fair way.
So maybe this is actually a decent thing.
Well, nothing up my sleeve, and by nothing I mean your stock. I'm a magician. And a dork. Yeah. Something else that is very interesting about this buy, if you're an old school Mac head or a Linux fan, is they bought Aspire Media. Aspire Media, back in the day before Boot Camp, if you wanted to play a big release game on your Mac, before there was Steam on Linux. No, but like, yeah, I wanted to.
I get it. I
had
too.
a Mac. I wanted to. You had to go, Aspire had to port the game over. Same with Linux before Steam came to Linux. And they have been doing a lot of interesting things lately. If you check out their games, now they still do Mac and Linux ports, but they've been doing a lot of mobile and Steam ports lately. They were responsible for the Star Wars Jedi Knight ports. They were responsible for the Episode 1 Racer ports.
God, I want Civ on mobile. That's such a good game
Civ
to be on
6
mobile.
on mobile, and Aspire
Civ 6
did it.
on mobile would be that's exactly the
you
kind
don't have to
of
dream.
mobile
You can have it. You can have it now.
Can you download it on iPhones?
Yeah, it's iOS. It's iOS. They put Borderlands on mobile. This is a clever buy for Embracer because they just bought a porting powerhouse.
Yeah.
For all 6 of those other studios that they own.
That's going to be very interesting.
They're going to be able to bring anything to any platform.
Yeah.
That's a good get. Is Gearbox a good get? I say yes for the IP.
Sure, fair enough.
For the IP. We got a trailer for a new Joss Whedon show.
Now, this one's really interesting. Joss Whedon claimed that this was apparently the best thing he had ever created, and he was so proud of it, and then he left halfway through production because making a show in a pandemic is hard, which is valid.
My friend Penny is a writer on this. I did not know it was a Joss Whedon show.
The Nevers, I'm gonna be honest with you, the trailer looks fucking bomb. Like, it looks very good. We all have our complete understanding of the issues with Joss Whedon. He's off the project now, so maybe that makes it a little better. But also, Joss Whedon has made a lot of things that I love very much.
We love HBO. We love magic. We love big budgets. We love a Victorian era.
We love Victorian fantasy with female leads that kick ass.
This war, the cops, purists. There's no shortage of people who hate us.
My sister and I, we've come to help.
It's all female leads.
Don't want more violence.
So that's very interesting.
It looks so good. I'm very excited about it.
Now, if you're wondering why Joss left, it was because of the stress of production during the pandemic, is what he said. He said he just didn't want to run a show during the pandemic.
Yeah.
He said it stressed him out. I understand that.
That would be very stressful.
We're doing the new Bright Spot in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's a 12-person production, and I'm stressed out.
Right.
Because it's scary because there's a virus out there that's killing people.
Yep.
So I get that, but I also think that's a very convenient thing to say.
Yeah.
leaving a show.
He did say it was the most ambitious narrative he had ever created, and I'm very excited to see where that goes.
The synopsis here, The Nevers takes place in Victorian London, where people, mostly women, suddenly manifest magical abilities. Known as the Touched, they must find a space for themselves amidst the
Yeah, now seems like a good time.
amidst the rigid and frankly sexist Victorian society. Okay.
I'm into it. I'm very into it. I'm gonna watch the hell out of it. It looks great. I haven't started watching the Winx saga yet, which also seems like it's in that kind of vein and genre, and I should be watching that if I'm that excited about this.
I hear not so great things about Winx, but also
Really, I heard great things so far.
I wasn't a human child when Winx existed, so I don't know.
I was also, I think, a little too old for Winx. I mentioned this the other day, but like I did a voice for one of the characters on Winx for like a few episodes when I was a teenager.
You still get those Winx checks?
Anthony,
You getting those Winx checks?
no.
How often those Winx checks come in?
Stop. But I think I was a teenager when the Winx Club was happening, and I think I was a little too old for it. Here's something that I am furious about.
Oh yeah.
I am so fucking upset about this. We almost got a live action Zelda series for Netflix.
Now, I remember the initial rumblings of this. I remember saying that Netflix was working on it,
I didn't know.
and then it just disappears.
In 2015, Netflix was developing a live action Zelda show and a claymation Star Fox series.
Well, so Netflix was developing the live-action Zelda show. College Humor was doing a claymation Zelda series because they had just done the Fantastic Mr. Star Fox, which was a claymation short for them.
Yes.
And the way we found out what happened to the Zelda series is Adam Conover, who was working at College Humor at the time, called his agent to see what was going on because Nintendo was like, we don't want to do the Star Fox series anymore.
Yeah.
And they had sent Miyamoto to the College Humor office. They had done a bunch of stuff. And so Conover calls up. He's like, what happened? We haven't heard from Nintendo. And this is how we found out. His agent tells him somebody leaked that Netflix was working on Zelda. Netflix didn't ever officially announce it. Somebody leaked it and it got picked up in the press. And Nintendo, who hates leaks, said, fuck you, no more show.
I can't believe that is such a petty move. That's such a petty move, Nintendo.
Can I tell you my favorite Nintendo story?
Sure.
When I was at Rev 3 Games, when Adam Sessler first joined up, he was like, we got to start, I've got some contacts, we've got to get you guys some dev kits, because we were waiting on like retail, we were waiting on publishers to send us games like 2 days ahead of time to review. If you have a dev kit, you can review code much earlier. So he's like, we got to get you guys some dev kits. So he calls Nintendo to get us some dev kits, and Nintendo's like, we won't give you like a Wii U dev kit, but we'll give you, or a Wii dev kit, but we'll give you a DS dev kit. And Adam goes, great. And they go, the guy will be by to install it this week.
Install a Game Boy?
And Adam goes, what do you mean install it? And they go, yeah. They'll be by to install it. We'll send him by on Thursday. And Adam's like, okay. The guy comes with a fucking briefcase, handcuffed to his wrist. And he says, where do you want me to install the DS? And we're like, what? He's like, where do you want me to install the DS? It needs to be on a permanent structure that cannot be moved because we need to bolt it down. What? And Adam says, no, it's a portable system. My reviewers have homes and lives. Why wouldn't we just, why does that need to be bolted down? They're like, it's the only way we can do it. And so we were like, well, eat shit, we're just not gonna review DS games. So Nintendo is very allergic to secrets being given out.
Yeah.
Very allergic.
So because of that, we don't get a live action Zelda series, and I am very upset about it.
I can say this, I think it makes a certain amount of sense from the Nintendo perspective of, if we can't even begin conversations without things being leaked, what's gonna happen when you're in production? What's gonna happen when we give you sensitive information that pertains to future games? I can sort of see it. It's a very Nintendo,
I guess.
very old school Japanese business way to do things. Can you be trusted? But it fucking sucks, man, because 2015 was when it was all blowing up. That's when Netflix was all blowing up.
There was so much good Netflix content being made in 2015. They were on it.
We were 3 seasons into Orange is the New Black. We were 3 seasons into
House of Cards.
They had just announced BoJack Horseman. They were working on The Crown. Stranger Things was about to pop off. Like, Zelda could have been a part of that. That would have changed the landscape, man.
That would have been so interesting. And at the time, too, Netflix wasn't making as much content. And in my opinion, like, now they make so much content that used to be like, a Netflix original's gonna be good. And now everything's a Netflix original. And they're just like, give us 7 more kissing booths and 100 more of those princess marrying a fucking normie dude.
They still have their prestige shows, but like, this was 2015. Zelda was going to be basically their Game of Thrones, their expensive fantasy show, but with less fucking. But
hopefully.
if Tinkle was in it, maybe there would be some fucking.
Hard to put Tinkle in something without it becoming immediately sexual.
Hard to put Tinkle in there without it being sexual. I don't know.
Hey.
You look good. You look rested.
Yeah, it's nice on you.
Yeah, it's probably because you watch the show on YouTube instead of first thing in the morning. Although you could watch it live first thing in the morning every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on twitch.tv/PixelCircus.
We are live at 8 a.m. Pacific if you want to see the whole show. And don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy catching the highlights.
I think you look so good you could probably watch the show live and still look good afterwards.
Maybe join us next time.